this one thing that got me tripping. It's this one thing that got me tripping. You did this one thing, you saw me feeling. It's this one thing you did. It's this one thing that caught me slipping. It's this one thing I want to admit. You did this one thing and I was so winning.
Projects.
First I caught the bag and put a Glock up in it, I'm about it. Next I pulled up on my favorite op and made them empty pockets. New tech imported to the city, niggas bringing rockets. I could get it at the retail price and resell it on StockX. I got somewhere I'm supposed to be right now, but I'm in Compton. I've been really bad for business lately, I've been steady dropping. His numbers up, he think he doing better than me, nigga stop it. Joker got this handshake that could show you that we really locked in. Why my shit be blinging in the sun while I be trying to pop shit? All I'm really seeing is the money, diamonds in my eyelids. I was really rich before the money, I was lit without it. Always keep the hoes around, they all got tea, they tryna clock it. She done been around for 6 months, can she really help it? Chaining day coming up quick, she gon' get a necklace. Every time I bring malicious round, shit be getting hectic. He gon' let you know exactly who and who not to mess with. Cash behind me, we knocked 3 goals off our checklist. He said it's time to really spin in that big body Benz. Catch me out in ATL this summer, I'm in Christian's crib. Everyone from Detroit to Atlanta finna hear the whip. Since 2021 I've been screaming big body Benz. Hella songs I can't even drop, I don't wanna snitch. I had told him if I die tonight I don't want y'all to spend. But here's a number I need you to call and they'll take care of it. Knowing that my people taken care of gon' bring me to tears. I done had my ducks all in a row since I jumped in that water. 22 and I'm already thinking about my sons and daughters. I'ma be a father that was way better than my father. He say he a shark, but I'm a shark too, let's see who's stronger. If you find an AR in the bushes somewhere in Ann Arbor, I'ma need my shit back for real, son, I need you to call me. Lately I just ain't been feeling right since I ain't had it on. I ain't coming to your party not for free, since you used to charge. And producers really trust me with they beat, cause they know I'm the hardest. 10 toes down and 2 feet, I don't even bargain. Doggy tryna tax about the beans, I'll find a new garden. Doggy musta popped one of his beans, he chasing leafy greens. I'm finna supercharge this RA and take off like Rocket League. I wanna live stream my antics, but they'll be watching me. I just went and got this new Mac that hold a 50 piece. I ain't even got my CPL and I conceal it still. Met up in the park, but after dark I left him in the field. Rings bigger than the Super Bowl, I'm in the NFL. Sneaker legends know I'm coming through, I'm finna buy a shell. 10 toes down and 2 feet, it's like I never fell. Anybody rapping with this flow took it from LXL. As long as you listen to my songs, I'll make sure you do well. 2 twin Glocks, they need a name like Keenan and Kel. One day my name gon' become essential like it's fear of God. How my gun gon' really trump shit cause it's a 45. Home base gon' be up out of space, my Rick and Morty vibes. Aim a nigga grinding harder than me, nigga, you a lie. One day my name gon' become essential like it's fear of God. My uncle said I'll be the president because he know that I humble niggas, uncontrollable and unfuckwittable. These niggas cannot miss me with that bullshit, I'm invisible. Your girlfriend done went and got hit cause she divisible. These niggas cannot miss me with that bullshit, I'm invisible. What up, what up, what up, LXL Universe? It's your boy LXL Ray is in the building. Hold on one second. Why the camera not focusing? All right, there we go. What up, y'all? We back in it for another one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's good to see y'all on this beautiful Wednesday and everything like that. Hope that y'all woke up this morning and prayed. If you didn't, you know what I'm saying, you should really consider throwing up a quick prayer right now because you always want to thank God for every day that you wake up and you know what I'm saying, you alive and you breathing and you kicking it. All right. All right, I know what I want to get out the way first. I know exactly what I want to get out the way first, right? So today, if you haven't already read the title, we're gonna be covering the like the treaty that Trump signed that actually freed 20 hostages, which is good news. So we're gonna like cover that, try to figure out a lot of stuff like about that and like you know what's going on for real and what led to that and why it's a good thing. After that, I want to transition into the Mikey Williams case. I heard that there was a verdict and I've been hearing like a lot about it, but I ain't seen nothing on it yet. So, you know what I'm saying? That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get into both of those. But before we do that, if you haven't already heard, you know what I'm saying? If you haven't already heard, I'm going to go by and do this really quick. It's a little like drive by. Whoa. A little drive by. But if you haven't already heard, boom.
Oh, boom, y'all. I want to avert y'all attention to the Instagram because right here, my latest post right here is actually the title of my new single that I dropped. It's called Pizza House. If you haven't already, I would really encourage you to go check it out because it's my first freestyle Friday type beat. You know what I'm saying? I did like a little hanging mic video and everything like that. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you hit up my Instagram at LXL. You know what I'm saying? Check it out, show a little bit of love. If you mess with it, drop a couple comments, whatever, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Also, it's out on all platforms except SoundCloud, so Apple Music, Spotify, you know what I'm saying, even YouTube, it's on all that. You know what I'm saying? If you type in LXL Reyes Pizza House, it should pop up, man. So that's my new single. You know what I'm saying? I would really encourage y'all to go check it out and everything. Like that is, it would mean really a lot to me. Yeah, stuff like that. Let me know y'all feedback and everything. So yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. And by the way, when I ask for feedback too, it helped me make better music for my peoples and everything, which is really like my goal and stuff like that. So I'm not just asking because I'm trying to get like, some type of analytics or something like that. I'm kind of trying to get like a pulse or like, what people like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then what people not liking. So I got a whole different type of like stuff coming out. You know what I'm saying? It's like I got a broad spectrum and I'm gonna be throwing stuff at the wall and everything. Everything's good quality and stuff like that, but I'm really trying to get that pulse on like y'all and everything. So when I ask y'all to tap in, it's just because I'm trying to, get better at reading y'all and figuring out what y'all like. But with that being said, see, I promise y'all it wasn't even gonna take that long. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, let's go ahead and let's go and get up into it. All right. Boom. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm gonna take that over there. And actually, no, let me switch these. But yep, y'all see it. Y'all see it. Y'all seeing the right things. So boom. What up in the chat? What up in the chat? You know what I'm saying? Love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. Let's try to get into it. Let's try to figure out like what really is going on. All right.
So this long and difficult.
Hold on. Got it coming through the wrong speakers. I don't need y'all hearing it twice. There we go. All right. Let's get it.
War has now ended. Some people say 3,000. So this long and difficult war has now ended. Some people say 3,000 years. Some people say 500 years. Whatever it is, it's the granddaddy of them all. And in an unprecedented achievement, virtually the entire region has endorsed the plan that Gaza will be immediately demilitarized, that Hamas will be disarmed, and Israel's security will no longer be threatened in any way, shape, or form. So this long and difficult war has now ended.
Okay. I'm seeing right here, like I ain't gonna lie, I'm looking at the comments too because I'm really trying to get I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Free Palestine. Trump frees Palestine. Why is he not focused on America? What will the far left protest about now? God bless Israel. Can't read too many. Let me see. Maybe I'm typing in the wrong thing. See, that's the thing. You really got to get people who will teach you. You know what I'm saying?
Traditionally, the idea to try to get peace in the Middle East was this idea that you would basically ask Israel what they wanted, and then you would ask the other party, usually Hamas, what they wanted, and you'd basically say, okay, cool, let's get in between those two positions. but that's not the way that Donald Trump did it. He was explicitly pro-Israel, doing things like approving the attack on.
So, did we sign a peace treaty between two other countries? Where the hell they do that at? So, boom, the original problem must have been between Gaza and Israel. And America must have stepped in. Let's see.
Iran, and it totally changed the way that the Middle East peace negotiations went. So let's spend a few minutes understanding how this went down. It's super interesting because not only did Trump make Israel feel like he was totally backing them and on their side, but he also was able to bring Qatar, which is this country, very wealthy Middle Eastern oil state right here, to the table and have them help bring Hamas to the negotiating table. And part of it was because Qatar trusted Trump a little bit and his people. You see this when, Trump said this famous thing, they don't know what the F they're doing. It showed that he was willing to be hard on both sides, on Israel and on Hamas and Iran and some of their allies. And this created an environment of trust for him and his people as the negotiators. None more important than Jared Kushner, who you have to admit has shown that he is a super talented diplomat. And the thing is, he has a really different style. And also this guy, Steve Witkoff, that's part of Trump's team. And it's mainly because they've negotiated the purchase of these like 6 and 7 figure buildings in New York. So who would have thought that the diplomatic training of New York City real estate was more important than some of the top schools in the nation? Because what Kushner knew is actually that business deals were going to make the peace deals come through. So you'll see there is this criticism of mixing business with politics, especially in Trump's administration. But the idea here is that if all these countries have these business deals, development plans going on, then there's a really strong incentive for peace, because the way that they're going to get the business deals done relies on there being peace in the region. And that was a really different approach from Jared Kushner that most likely he and Steve Witkoff learned from trying to get people to agree on deals in this super competitive, hyper transactional environment of New York City real estate, which is totally different from the way that diplomacy has been done in the Middle East in the past. Like you can see here that President Bush calls for a forward strategy of freedom to promote democracy in the Middle East. The idea with our previous administrations, President Bush, Condoleezza Rice, Madeleine Albright, they all promoted this idea that ultimately what everybody in the Middle East wants is democracy and freedom, which is going to be a difficult sell to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia or a place like the United Arab Emirates or Qatar, where democracy and freedom is not the number one thing on the political elite's agenda in those countries. So that message didn't resonate super well with some of the people in the Middle East. Instead,
and that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, like, how does this tie in if all these like countries and stuff like that aren't really like democratic countries? Like a lot of them like run their stuff like really different, especially with like once you get over there into the Middle East. So it's like, yeah, I get that you have this new approach and stuff like that, and yeah, I get you have all these business deals, but I think that it still had the potential to go like left, which is why like I'm really interested to see, man, like if the ceasefire, like, you know what I'm saying, if both parties like respect it, if both parties do respect it, like once America out the picture, once they come back over here, you know what I'm saying, who knows what happened over there. So it's up to them still to maintain it.
The Trump administration talked about was prosperity. They would constantly promote this vision of development in the Middle East, people having money and opportunity. And that is something that is a little bit more universal than promising that everybody's going to have democracy. And Israel had a huge role in this, particularly on the military front, because they targeted Hezbollah, they targeted the Houthis in Yemen. They also had these successful operations in Iran and just lots of military successes, and including this time when Israel targeted a place in Qatar, which was really important because that's where some of the Hamas leadership was residing in safety, while the actual super difficult stuff was happening in actually the Gaza Strip. The Hamas leadership was here. And so there was this idea that Israel was kind of letting them know, hey, we can reach you wherever you are. You're not just going to be able to live in a super fancy place in Qatar while this conflict happens back next door to us. So all that military stuff was the backbone, honestly, of bringing a lot of these people to the table and showing like, hey, Israel's going to be around for a while, and also Israel is a powerful and sophisticated nation. So let's talk about this. And there's not really denying it that, this sets the stage for this hopefully lasting harmony in the Middle East, where ideally a lot of these countries and their populations are more prosperous. There's more stability. There's less war. And I think it's important to remember that there were some really smart, effective, previously very successful politicians from America who could not get this deal done. John Kerry is one of them. I don't know if you remember him, but he was a presidential candidate, a top senator, and he said, listen, my last act in public life is to bring peace to the Middle East. He totally failed, did not work. Condoleezza Rice, who is an exceptionally smart woman, was the Secretary of State under George W. Bush. She failed to make breakthroughs in the Middle East. Madeleine Albright, who was Clinton's person, failed. And part of this is because actually Israel and the other Middle East parties, they trusted Trump. And part of the deal was because he would do things like he would make Benjamin Netanyahu call Qatar and apologize, demonstrating to Qatar that he's a trustworthy trade partner, because if he needs to, he's going to ask Netanyahu to, do things that show that he's a good faith negotiator and it's not all one-sided. Like, for example, providing a security guarantee to Qatar. So this is pretty interesting. So now you have this whole new situation in the Middle East where Israel feels more confident in its role as a regional power. But it's not just Israel. There's a whole new regional order taking shape for a more integrated Middle East. And this aligns with what a lot of investors like Ray Dalio and a lot of people have talked about, which is that the Middle East can be an extremely prosperous place. There's a ton of oil money there, a lot of investment that's available. And now you've got an Israel who has the ability to say, listen, we're going to be here. You can't keep saying that we shouldn't exist. And then these other countries that are saying, this would be great. Hopefully there's peace here, like Saudi Arabia and Qatar and UAE. Let's make some investments. Let's build some stuff. Let's actually make this a place where people can prosper. Of course, this is like super fragile. There's a lot of questions about how stable this can be going forward. But I think that you have to admit that the fact that Hamas gave back the hostages is an undeniable W. I mean, that was a sticking point, and they've now been returned to Israel. And I think it's interesting that, people like Joe Biden, they're saying that their administration worked on all this stuff. He did say that he commends Trump, but, he's kind of trying to say, listen, we set this in motion. Good thing Trump got it over the finish line, which you can also kind of read as saying, hey, Trump's actually not crazy. He was able to basically continue doing work that we started. So it's kind of an admission that maybe Trump's just not this insane president like a lot of Democrats like to present him. And this is Barack Obama's tweet about the situation. you can't see his photo up there, but this is this one. And, he talks about basically how this is a good thing. Doesn't give any credit to Trump whatsoever. But I think that it's undeniable that this is the New York Times, saying that this is a major diplomatic accomplishment for Donald Trump and for his people. And I think that it'll change his legacy. There's no doubt about it. Traditionally, the idea to try to get peace in the Middle East was this idea that
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. A win is a win.
I challenge the Palestinians to take responsibility for their destiny, because that's what we're giving them. We're giving them responsibility for their destiny. They don't want the life that they've had. They've had a rough life with Hamas. If the Palestinian Authority does not complete the reforms that I laid out, they'll have only themselves to blame. We're giving them an amazing footprint, and they have amazing support from the leaders of the Arab world and the Muslim world. I challenge the Palestinians to take responsibility for their destiny, because that's what we're giving them. We're giving them.
Man. So I guess I guess all I'm still trying to do really is I'm trying to put together where is the incentive to keep this going. I guess I kind of see it with the whole businesses, there's a plan in place, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can eat, you know what I'm saying? Like, how about, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can eat, you know what I'm saying? We can integrate y'all. We got this plan for the Middle East, but I don't know. There still feels like gaps in it to me.
Let's go over it so you have an understanding of what they perhaps framed out over in Cairo, Egypt. War will end immediately. So the fighting that's still continuing, we saw smoke coming out of Gaza, will cease. I don't think that'll be much of a problem. All hostages will have to cease to be returned within 72 hours. We don't know when the clock actually starts ticking, but let's say Monday, at which time you'll have 20 plus alive and over 50 bodies collected. Right now, that's taking place, we understand, between all the different factions. There are groups that are holding hostages that are not members of Hamas, but have the same militant mindset.
Dang, so there was over 70. Dang, okay, that's a lot of people.
Israel released 250 people with life sentences. That means more than likely they have killed before. Think about how difficult that is. 1,700 Gazans. Some people have been captured during this fighting. Keep in mind, Yahya Sinwar was one of the people that was exchanged for one hostage last time. He ends up being the architect of the October 7th attack. Thankfully, him and his brother are dead. Hamas members could be given amnesty if they decommission their weapons and agree to give up their rockets. That was the sticking point yesterday. We believe somehow they overcame it. Hamas will not have any role in the governance of Gaza, we should hope. Israel will not occupy or annex Gaza. That's not going to be an issue. The issue was really more the West Bank area, where the Palestinian Authority mostly has the authority, but I don't think they're looking to take any Gaza. And I don't think that was much of something to be hurdled. Gaza will be governed by a temporary transition government. This is going to be key. And that government's going to be chaired by a peace council by President Trump. And then there's going to be people like Tony Blair, who's given basically his post-prime minister career to trying to find some way forward on a two-state solution or whatever's possible in the area. The question is, if you see Westerners in that region, we know they were targets when the Iraqi transition was taking place, will they be targets again? And the possible path to Palestinian self-determination and statehood. It's all going to be performance-based. How are they acting? Are there really Palestinian technocrats that want to work out a way to rebuild Gaza, set up institutions, security, schools, and things to that nature? I don't know any. And maybe some of them are in prison right now. We're not sure. If you want to have an idea and a visual of what's going on, this was supplied by the White House. This is essentially Israel, okay? This is Gaza. This is where the walls were breached and the attack took place. Right now, we see the IDF is at the blue line. They'll be backing up to the yellow line and eventually be out. One of the sticking points was Hamas was saying, I want them all out before we go out. That doesn't seem to have happened. Let's go over it so you have an understanding of what they perhaps framed out over in Cairo, Egypt. War will end immediately. So the fighting that's still continuing, we saw smoke coming out of Gaza, will cease. I don't think that'll be much of a problem.
That went fast. I ain't gonna lie, that went fast, but I think I get it more now.
Donald Trump announced on social media the apparent signing or agreement of a peace deal to end Israel's 2-year war in Gaza. Quote, I'm very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed upon line as the first steps towards a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. We first got wind of this last week when Trump proposed a peace plan that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had agreed to. On Friday, Hamas reacted publicly very favorably, also agreeing to parts of the deal and asking to negotiate the rest of it. Yesterday, Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, and Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who is not at all currently in the government, traveled to Egypt for the negotiations. Today, there appears to be a framework. Now, there's a lot we don't know, but again, according to the president, take a grain of salt, in the first phase, Israel will partially withdraw from Gaza. Hamas will release the remaining living hostages as well as the remains of those who have died. Donald Trump announced on social media the apparent...
So I'm trying to think, who was invading who? Was it Israel was invading Gaza, or was Gaza invading Israel? I feel like it was Israel invading Gaza, but
October 13th, 2025, President Trump just signed in the peace deal between Israel and Hamas, ending the war in Gaza. This is incredibly historic and incredibly biblical. We've been hearing about this peace deal for quite some time now. People have desired for there to be peace in the region because we've all seen the atrocities taking place over there. Well, now it's looking like they're actually heading in that direction. This is a 20-point peace plan, and so this is only phase one of the signing. Not sure how many phases there will be, but I'm sure that there will be more to come, or so they desire to. Ultimately, they are trying to give the Palestinians a state over there in the Middle East. Israel's not too fond of this, but as we can see, this deal is still progressing. If you read your Bible, you know it says in 1 Thessalonians 5:3, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." I believe that we may be seeing this peace and safety that's being spoken about in the world. Gaza has been a main topic for many years now, and many decades even, and we've seen what's all taken place over there, even though it's been suppressed to some extent. But with this peace deal coming out, I believe that is no light thing. I believe that it is also very prophetic. So many Bible prophecies are happening around the world, and yet still so many people are asleep. If you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, I pray that you would get one, that you would seek him while you still have the time. I'm interested in hearing you guys' thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think about all of this, and let me know what you expect to see in the near future. October 13th, 2025.
Amen. They said that Trump's been fulfilling biblical prophecy though, since he moved the capital of Israel back to the capital of. See, look at here. I'll go talking on the side of my neck. He did something else though.
I've done other deals and people don't care as much. Big deals. I think they're big deals, but this is something that's taken off like a rocket ship. And it did from the beginning. And I've heard for years, this is the biggest deal. It'll never happen. For years, long before I ran for office, that this is the Middle East. It's the biggest, most complicated deal. And also it's the place that could lead to tremendous problems like World War III. They always talk about World War III would start in the Middle East. And that's not going to happen. We don't want it to start anywhere, actually, but it's not going to happen. I've done other deals and people don't care as much.
You know, Trump, it was really good that you brought that one dude with you too, the one negotiator. What'd they say? I ain't gonna watch this because I ain't gonna. Yeah. It's off topic.
Where are the Free Palestine people? Where are you guys at? Because all you've been spewing is Free Palestine, Free Palestine. And President Trump is ending the damn war. And you guys are very silent about it. Because Trump made this peace deal. You can't give him even an inkling of appreciation.
I'm not sure.
Wait, what? Is he about to spit some facts?
October 13th.
Where are the free Palestine people? Can't give.
The deal was crafted without Palestinian input. That is the first red flag here. The second thing to talk about is why this peace deal came in this moment. In the words of Israel's finance minister Bezalel Smotrich, just last month, the demolition phase is already done. Called the Gaza Strip a real estate bonanza. This is a mindset that the United States has openly talked about. Trump's talked about it. Jared Kushner's talked about it. He said the opportunity pays for itself and that he's already started negotiations with the Americans. There's a business plan on Donald Trump's desk. He said, we have paid a lot of money for this war. We have to see how we are dividing up the land in percentages. The demolition is done. Now we have to build. The other reason I think this moment was chosen, besides the demolition being done, is that the world was starting to turn in terms of public perception across the board. This was not a decision off the back of the strength of Donald Trump. Israel just embarrassed Donald Trump with his last peace deal. Remember this just happened. Trump put this forward. Israel accepted it. Then they had Hamas meet in Qatar to discuss if they would accept it, and Israel bombed the meeting. USLI Qatar, that in the first Trump administration he called a funder of terrorism at a very high level. Then they gave him a $400 million jet. He's building a nice golf resort over there, and we will now have 15 Qatari F-15s in Idaho. You know what other country knows Qatar very well? Israel. Because
wait, hold
Qatar
on.
We will now have 50.
Go back. What is it? Trump, Qatar has been a funder of terrorism at a very high level. Trump today, after Qatar gifted him $4 million and investing in his other project. Qatar is great. We're building a Qatari for Air Force in Idaho. Okay.
Qatari F-15s in Idaho. You know what other country knows Qatar very well? Israel, because Qatar was funding Hamas, and Benjamin Netanyahu knew this and he allowed it to happen. We are talking about billions of dollars over a decade. Talking about this all the way back in 2012 with Israeli journalists saying that he wanted to keep Hamas strong as a counterweight to the Palestinian Authority because he thought they would push for a Palestinian state. This is simple stuff. He didn't just tolerate these payments, he encouraged them. And just weeks before October 7th, the head of Mossad was in Qatar, in the same city that Israel just bombed, meeting with Qatari officials. This is all currently a fucking farce. The corruption right now is running rampant. It's funny because you seem to grift in every imaginable direction. When you're a conservative woman who openly questions Israel, no, I'm not pro-Palestine either, I'm pro-America. I can tell you love America, Candace, God help us who spells Candace that way, because of the American flag in your name. But how do you feel about America being jerked around like a little dog on a chain?
We make the best weapons in the world, and we've got a lot of them, and we've given a lot to Israel, frankly, and
Is that Congress? What is that?
I mean, Bibi would call me so many times, can you get me this weapon, that weapon, that weapon? Some of them I never heard of, Bibi, and I made them. But we'd get them here, wouldn't we? And they are the best. They are the best. But you used them well. It also takes people that know how to use them. And you obviously used them very well.
Trump and the Knesset sitting around giggling about American weapons funded by my tax dollars, your tax dollars, being used to destroy everything that a group of people needs to survive, and the people themselves. 1.5% of crops in Gaza can be farmed. None of their 36 hospitals are currently fully operational, and 14 of them are partially functioning. 1,700 other health workers killed in 654 attacks. 90% of their schools destroyed or damaged, leaving 745,000 people without education. 92% of homes damaged or destroyed, as 95% of the population was displaced. A minimum of 70,000 deaths, bare minimum, not counting the people still buried in rubble, the people that died from sickness or starvation or other indirect causes, people that took their own lives. 170,000 people wounded minimum, putting immense strain on that healthcare system that is decimated that I just referenced. Estimated cost to rebuild of $50 billion. Where is that money coming from? You ask, why are people not excited about this momentary peace? It's because there is nothing left for these people to go back to. You actually take a moment and look into the peace plan, you understand it is not for them. When you look frame by frame at the devastation that has occurred just over the course of this year, neighborhood by neighborhood, you might start to ask yourself, why would you be excited about this? Take a look at Jabalia, or Beit Hanun, Beit Lahia, Shujaiya,
Zaytoon, I could go on like this, but you get the point. There is nothing for these people to go back to because the job is already done, right? We're talking about a level of destruction and devastation that is unimaginable, and the questions still remain. What is peacekeeping going to look like? What is rebuilding going to look like? What is the path towards Palestinian governance or Palestinian sovereignty? There is no peace because the Palestinian people you so callously called free are not free. They are just in a new version of hell.
Where are the free Palestine?
Oh my gosh. I hope that these comments ain't real. I hope that this isn't actually what happened. Israel already broke the ceasefire. Hamas killing Palestinians. Y'all calling. Let's have that. I gotta figure out who's right because let me see. That was 2 days ago. Okay, so all these are older. Well, shoot. His was posted 11 hours ago, but all these are older. This is like the most recent video we watched, except for this one. Is there anything updated?
After years of death and destruction, Trump now claims he can bring eternal peace to the Middle East. From Washington, he announced a 21-point proposal for Gaza, a plan written with Israel and its allies, but without Palestinians. Once again, outsiders draw Gaza's fate. Israel will only begin to withdraw if hostages are returned within 72 hours. Gaza's freedom tied entirely to Israel's conditions. In exchange, nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners would be freed, and for this limited phase, Israel suspends its airstrikes and shelling. But Gaza will not govern itself. Instead, a transitional technocratic committee, supervised by Trump and Tony Blair, takes over. Hamas and all Palestinian factions are excluded. Aid is promised, but it will be delivered and distributed only by foreign agencies. Palestinians stripped even of the right to manage their own relief. Hamas members may leave Gaza safely or disarm for amnesty. Yet the plan ignores why they exist, offering no path for reconciliation or political resolution. And at its core, Israel never fully leaves Gaza. Troops remain in a new permanent buffer zone, redrawing Gaza's borders under Israeli control. This so-called peace plan cements Israeli dominance. It avoids the central questions: no Palestinian statehood, no recognition of Jerusalem, no right of return. It offers management, not liberation.
Yeah, because the capital of Israel is Jerusalem again, right? Is that what I was trying to say earlier? Trump paying attention to Trump paying certain platforms to recruit new ICE member. Dang. Is that really what this is all about? Yikes. This dude's intentions.
The language of peace hides a harsher truth. Israel failed to erase Gaza by force, so now seeks to dictate its future through Trump's diplomacy.
Wow.
Trump's 21 points are not a road to peace. They are a road to permanent occupation, a humiliation imposed on Gaza's people. Real peace will come only when Palestinians, not Israel or foreign powers, decide their own future. What are your views on Trump's 21-point Gaza plan? Is this peace or permanent occupation? Share your thoughts and join me on Map Narratives, where I break down global conflicts, power politics, and the stories behind the maps. After years of death,
They don't even care. Maybe because why was Trump? He was on TV though talking about Israel, Palestine need to take responsibility for their own fate and destiny. So are they governing it just so that, or are they saying that they're governing it just so that they can have a peace, but really they're gonna let the Palestinians do like their own thing?
I challenge the Palestinians to take responsibility for their destiny, because that's what we're giving them. We're giving them responsibility for their destiny. They don't want the life that they've had. They've had a rough life with Hamas. If the Palestinian Authority does not complete the reforms that I laid out, they'll have only themselves to blame. We're giving them an amazing footprint, and they have amazing support from the leaders of the Arab world and the Muslim world. I challenge the Palestinians to.
Jeez. I really do want to understand this more. I'm not trying to bore y'all. Hey, let me know if y'all want me to move on. Like, literally just type in chat if y'all want me to move on to the Mikey Williams thing.
I honestly don't think a lot of people remember this photo right here from Netanyahu's speech at the United Nations in 2024. But this image is not aging well. And he wasn't joking. And maybe you haven't heard, but Jared Kushner was in Israel on the day after their Sabbath for the first day of Sukkot, or the Feast of Tabernacles, in order to negotiate along with President Trump, while President Trump was still here in the United States, on behalf of President Trump, and really quite possibly the world, with Prime Minister Netanyahu, in order to make a peace plan with Hamas. Let's take a listen to this audio.
Do y'all think that it's possible for like Palestine or like Gaza to become like a American territory, like Puerto Rico?
1,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up too. It's going to hold up. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven.
And maybe you didn't know this, but last week, President Trump is on record saying multiple times that let's not just call it peace in the Middle East. Let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East. If you are a Christian or you study eschatology or end times prophecy, these comments from President Trump are definitely raising some concerns. And let me just point out the obvious. There are a few people missing from all of this conversation about eternal peace, and it's these guys. Let's not forget the massive show of force and solidarity that they all put on display for the whole world to see not long ago. These three right here are.
Oh, I just connected something pretty bad. Yeah, this feel like end time prophecy for sure, where like the whole world is going to be brought under like one government. That is what this feel like. It feel like boom. Like, and just seeing this picture right here is what made me think about that, bro. Because you can't have Kim Jong-un, you can't have Vladimir Putin, you can't have Trump, and I'm sorry, I forget the dude's name in the middle, but I'm pretty sure that's that's the leader of China. But you can't have all these world powers in the same picture and everything. Then you include Trump. Then you include things like, oh yeah, boom, Trump really now governs Israel. And then, you know what I'm saying, not have people over here thinking about end time prophecy. Like, dang, all right, they did say that. It's like, you know what I'm saying, they did say that the fake Jesus, the Antichrist, really is going to take the throne and everything like that and bring everybody under a one world government. That is literally what it seemed like we coming to. Whoa. I did not think that that's where this was headed. Whoa, things are moving fast. Get in y'all Bibles, y'all. Get in y'all Bibles now, bro. Now is not the time to play around.
Are going to quite possibly end up agreeing to this peace plan because, of course, the whole world is involved, President Trump said. But are they going to honor it all the way through the agreement? I'm going to read to you guys a few Bible verses, and these Bible verses are thousands of years old, and they refer to a peace plan that's made and then broken. I'm not going to say that this plan
Yeah.
that's being put
Yeah.
in
It
place
does say
is
that.
this plan that I'm reading about here in just a minute, but I'm asking you to consider, could it be the plan spoken of by the prophet Daniel? Let's listen to a few verses.
Whoa.
Daniel 9:27. And he shall make a strong covenant with many for 1 week. That means 7 years, by the way. And for half of the week,
How many days did this happen ago? How many days ago did this happen? Because some people was covering this up to 6 days ago. Comments were saying that they already broke the treaty.
he shall put an end to sacrifice and offering. And on the wing of abominations shall come one who makes desolate until the decreed end is poured out on the desolator. Okay. That obviously refers to sacrifices that have been reinstituted. For that to happen, there most likely needs to be a third temple. And that's why you'll hear Christians talk about this third temple that they believe needs to be built in order for Jesus to come back. Because
And the Antichrist is going to sit right on that throne and tell y'all that he's the second coming of Jesus.
Daniel prophesied that the sacrifices which would be made at a temple are put to a stop. Now, there's been lots of talk that President Trump is going to be the guy who makes a third temple possible. There's even a coin with his face on it, a shekel. And it's because they genuinely believe that he's going to make that temple possible. Daniel 8:25. By his cunning, he shall make deceit proper under his hand, and in his own mind, he shall become great. Without warning, he shall destroy many, and he shall even rise up against the prince of princes, and he shall be broken, but by no human hand. Daniel 11, verse 21 says, in his place shall arise a contemptible person to whom royal majesty has not been given. He shall come in without warning and
This place shall arise a contemptible person whom royal majesty has not been given. Shall come without warning and obtain the kingdom by flatteries.
obtain the kingdom by flatteries. That's pretty interesting. Daniel 11:23. And from the time that an alliance is made with him, he shall act deceitfully, and he shall become strong with a small people. This is talking about somebody who makes an alliance and then becomes incredibly strong with a small group of people. That's pretty interesting right there. Considering the size of the nation of Israel, it's relatively small on the global scale. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3, it says, while people are saying there is peace and security, then sudden destruction will come upon them as labor pains come upon a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. This is a famous Bible verse. And this is something that really does concern the Christian community globally, because right now we have leader after leader saying peace and safety regarding this specific conflict between Gaza and Israel, or Palestine and Israel, however you want to call it. This is a really clear, vivid portrayal that while everyone is saying peace and security or peace and safety, sudden destruction comes upon them, the people saying it. Now in Revelation chapter 6, verse 1, it says, now I watched when the Lamb opened one of the seven seals, and I heard one of the four living creatures say with a voice like thunder, come. And I looked, and behold, a white horse, and its rider had a bow, and a crown was given to him. And he came out conquering and to conquer. What do you guys think about this peace plan? Are you guys seeing the earmarks of what Daniel spoke about? Is it just me? that's concerned about this, let me know in the comments.
No, it ain't even just her because it's been happening for like a little bit. It's been happening. Oh my gosh, it's been happening. It's been happening for like a little bit. Dang, he is fulfilling prophecy of the Antichrist, bro, right in front of us, and people are still like, "What's the big deal?" Oh, we're gonna end it off with the black
3,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up too. It's going to hold.
So that was the signing of the first half, because there's parts to this thing. That was the signing of the first half of the peace agreement. There is a 20-part, I keep forgetting what they call it, but there's another section of this peace agreement that I believe is the true agreement that the AC will confirm. So we are not there yet, but I wanted to give you some key characteristics of what's the description of what the AC will be and who the AC will be. Okay. First, they described, and I took this from Matthew, Thessalonians, Revelations, and John 1 and 2, and the book of Daniel.
And
so
the book of
basically,
Daniel.
we do know that the AC will deny Jesus' divinity. The AC will deny that Jesus is the Christ and the Son of God. The second thing is he exalts himself, okay? He opposes God and exalts himself above everything called God, even claiming to be the God in the temple of God. The biggest marker is he is a deceiver with signs and wonders, okay? The AC uses false signs and wonders to deceive people and establish his authority. So this person seeks for the authority. The goal is the authority over the world. Another characteristic and attribute will be politically powerful. The AC will become a charismatic. So this is someone who will become a charismatic, crafty politician and ruler of the global kingdom. And we're talking about global. So we're not just talking in the US, we're talking about globally. He's also called the man of lawlessness and the son of perdition, which means destruction, okay? He breaks promises. He may make a covenant with Israel that he later breaks, leading into the desecration of the temple. I also read somewhere in the Bible, and I can't pinpoint it, that there will be a disdain for women. And so to me, that is more of a cultural thing. If you know what I'm putting down, then you know. According to the principal, and please know that the name principal is a nickname that I use. Please catch it. According to the principal, he stated that the principal and mediators will basically begin to work on phases 2, 3, and 4. It is 4 phases of this peace agreement, y'all. And the 20-point peace plan. So this is a 20-point peace plan with 2, 3, and 4. Okay, 2, 3, and 4. Sections that they have to fulfill. But what I think is interesting, he mentioned that 4 nations already, 2, 3, and 4, okay? 2, 3, and 4 sections that they have to fulfill. But what I think is interesting, he mentioned that 4 nations already signed on with the Abrahamic Accords. Now, the reason why that's interesting, because the Bible speaks of the 10 kings or the nations, the 10 horns on the terrifying beast, and that is in Daniel 7 and Revelation, the 17th chapter. So that is interesting that 4 nations have already signed on. He also stated that he expressed that more Arab and Muslim countries, majority nations, would join the Abraham Accords. There is something very significant about the Abraham Accords, and I think that agreement alone is the agreement. And I'm speaking of that is the agreement. I hope we are catching my innuendo. So that is the agreement. Why? Because there is a prophetic dream that I had where the Lord kept showing me the Mahdi as the AC. And AC is the nickname. So as we look at the 10 leaders to unite with a global, which will be the AC, this global person, which will be the AC, there's 4 nations that already have joined. This is going very quickly. And it saddens me that people of God, that people who serve Jesus, they're in church every Sunday.
And
Y'all
don't
churched
see
out.
it.
Literally, we are not paying attention to literal end times Bible prophecy that
They
is
ain't got that
completely
far.
fulfilling right before us.
They ain't got that
We
far.
know that this agreement was the first part of it, so
They're
this is
delusional.
not the actual plan. There's 4 parts, but
Because prophecy even said that he will come and fool many Christians.
as we progress, they're going to immediately begin working on with mediators concerning 2, 3, and 4. So I don't know if that's going to be done all at once or separately, just like this deal. But please know we are closer than we ever have been to, number one, the return of Christ, but to the Bible completely fulfilling itself as God's word has said in the book of Daniel, in the book of Revelation, the book of Matthew. These are all prophetic books. Meanwhile, I'm tired of y'all setting dates for the rapture. Can we stop that? That has worn me completely out, and thank you.
Yeah,
Lastly, if you are
that's lame.
watching this video and you don't know Jesus, there is such a great opportunity and you have time. It saddens me that people feel like they're gone too far. Jesus don't want me. I done messed up. You are never too far. As long as we still here and living and breathing, he is giving you an opportunity. He's giving you the grace to yield to him and to come to him in repentance. I know
Amen.
repentance sounds like it's too easy. Really, I just repent and believe in my heart. It sounds very easy, but God is literally just asking for repentance. And the Bible says to believe in your heart and
Yes.
confess with your mouth and you shall be
Yes.
saved.
Yes.
So this is a call to salvation. If these things are even scaring you, your heart has to be in a pure place to want to come into the knowledge of God.
Yeah.
Fear can't do it. Just because you're scared because of what's happening, that's not going to do it. You have to wholeheartedly want Jesus. You have to wholeheartedly want to come into the knowledge of him.
Exactly.
I urge you to repent and come to Jesus, because looking at this, do you know you have 10 seconds? That's the video.
This took 3,000 years.
Oh, I like that. I like how she spit that. I like how she spit that. Okay. Now we see. Now that feels complete. Finally, that feels complete. All right, y'all. We're moving on. With that being said, we spent an hour deep diving into it, learning. We're moving on. All right. But don't think that just because I'm moving on, that ain't like super important. It's super important. We just, you know what I'm saying? We got more to get on with this show. Anything like that, man. That's crazy though. But biblical prophecies really are unfolding itself right in our face. And it's crazy because Trump really is falling into the role of the Antichrist. Bro, right in front of us. And we're all just, man. I'm not going to say we're all. It's a lot of people who are looking at this situation for what it is. And that's good to them. All right. Now we're gonna move on, y'all. So next thing I want to get into is Mikey Williams. If y'all don't know, Mikey Williams was a child prodigy when it comes to the game of basketball. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people who, you know, was coming up, you was in high school anywhere between the times of maybe like, I don't know, like 2019 all the way up to like 2023-ish. You know what I'm saying? You probably know who Mikey Williams is and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the most promising like basketball player, supposed to be like kind of like of our little like high school like era and everything. But you know what I'm saying? It seems like he came into a little bit of like trouble with the law. I don't know if they caught him in illegal possession of a firearm. I can't remember really what it was, but it's like one of those classic cases of, you know what I'm saying, you was hanging around the wrong crowd or you was doing something you had no business doing. And it's just so unfortunate because bro had like, he had sponsorships, you know what I'm saying? He had deals lined up for him. Like when he came out of high school, he had deals lined up, and this dude was pretty much on a perfect path to the NBA if I ever seen one. More perfect than Bronny James, more perfect than, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people who was coming up and everything like that. Like fate was guaranteed for this young man. But you know, he just got handed his sentence and everything like that. From what I've kind of been hearing through the grapevine, it must not have been good. So we're going to try to like deep dive into this one. We're going to also try to figure out like, man, what's going on with this case too. Let's get into it, y'all.
Mikey Williams just ruined his life. Mikey Williams, the basketball prodigy who once dropped a jaw-dropping 77 points in a high school game and is followed by Drake, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant on Instagram, is now facing a trial that could potentially end his career. Now, on March 27th, shots were fired at a car leaving his home in San Diego County. Now, thankfully, no one was harmed, but now Williams is looking at a potential sentence of up to 28 years behind bars, and the DA said that he's still looking for charges to add onto Mikey Williams' case. On Tuesday, October 12th, witnesses took the stand and painted a picture that could change the trajectory of Mikey Williams' career. And they made one thing clear: none of them were armed, and they didn't threaten Mikey. However, there were contradictions in the testimonies, adding another layer of complexity to the case. Apparently, one girl testified that Mikey Williams told the group that we better get to stepping or you'll leave with bullet holes. Another girl testified that he said that we're up in the mountains so no one will be able to save us or help us. The boy stated that Mikey Williams told them that y'all better leave before I kill all of y'all. And while Mikey Williams' defense attorney, Troy Owens, asked the judge to dismiss the charges against his client and argue that this could have been an act of self-defense, the DA argued that any self-defense claims were laughable. Bear in mind that Penny Hardaway said that Mikey Williams cannot play for Memphis until he resolves his legal matters, and this could be going on for quite some time. And I hate to say this, but Mikey Williams just ruined his life. Mikey Williams, the basketball...
Dang. Get to stepping. He pulled out the Martin. He pulled out the Martin line.
Mikey Williams is shaking. Mikey Williams is a basketball star for the Memphis Tigers. I'm talking about multi-million-dollar deal, young basketball prospect. Well, he caught a gun charge in California. It's a lot of drama and tea connected to this, but let's talk about it. Mikey Williams is one of those basketball stars that is lining up to be one of the greatest. He has 4 million on Instagram, 2 million on TikTok, and millions of views of his highlight tapes ever since he was like 18, 19 years old on YouTube. So this kid is literally that guy. Now, here's what happened in the incident. He was in Jamul, California, which is around San Diego area. And there was an incident where there was a house. Of course, he lives in Memphis. He plays for the Memphis Tigers. So this was not his house, but maybe it was an Airbnb. That has not been specified. 5 people, unidentified people that were not invited, came to the house. There was an altercation or incident inside of said house. Then outside, when the people left, allegedly, they said that Mikey got the shooting at the car. They said that he was the one identified with the weapon. He's already been bailed out on a $50,000 bail. And he took down his Instagram. People have been demonizing him about the situation ever since. And when I mean demonizing, like, look at the headline. High school basketball star arrested facing gun charges. Now, he was facing up to 5 gun charges, but the reports are saying he may only be charged with 1, assault with a deadly weapon. But we don't know if this was a self-defense or anything. But to me, I did the story because it's indicative of a bigger problem. And to me, it's bigger than Mikey. This kid has been allotted every opportunity in the basketball world. So people are going to say, oh, you're throwing it all away. We don't know the situation. But I had a deep talk with one of my friends the other day. And we were talking about how right now there are no OGs. Back when I was growing up, it was older guys that these young dudes could look up to and be able to model their behavior after. Those days are long gone. So it's like these young dudes, they are taking notes from other young dudes. And I'm not saying that he is in the wrong. Like I told you, it could have been self-defense, but there is nobody there to make sure that these prospects are going down the right path. They are only there protecting themselves. Do y'all see what I'm saying? So of course he had a gun. He's in a city that's not his. Nipsey got killed in California. You don't know what could happen. So I am on his side with saying, who is there to protect these young kids with all of these up and coming, big things that happen for them? Who is there to watch over them? Now, I know this is a grown man. He's a 6'3" grown man. But to me, this is still a child. I've been out of college a long time. And I think that this is a call to action for all the older men to step up. If you see a young kid that's going in the right direction, try to get your life together, be a better example, and also try to protect them and make sure they're going down the right path. Stuff like this may not happen as much. I really do think so. Mikey Wood.
That is facts. That is facts. We even be talking about that on the MIDI Lab show. Whoa.
Really, my pops was like the mind behind that. I ain't really know, like a lot of stuff I was doing, I didn't know why I was doing it, but I was just doing it. He just telling me like it's gonna make sense.
When Williams arrived at San Ysidro High School in 2019, expectations were astronomical, but even the most optimistic projections couldn't have predicted the statistical devastation he would unleash. As a freshman, he averaged an otherworldly 29.9 points, 6.7 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and 1.6 steals per game, leading San Ysidro to a CIF San Diego Section Division III championship. But it was one particular performance that would etch his name into California high school basketball folklore forever. On December 13, 2019, against Montgomery High School, Williams erupted for an astronomical 77 points, including 9 3-pointers, in a 116-52 victory, shattering San Diego County's single-game scoring mark previously held at 71 points. The performance wasn't just statistically remarkable, it was a cultural phenomenon that sent shockwaves through the basketball community and cemented his status as a generational talent. The accolades poured in like a torrential downpour: Max Prep's National Freshman of the Year, CIF San Diego Section Player of the Year, and a spot on the All-State First Team. Recruiting services pegged him as the #1 prospect in the 2023 class, with offers flooding in from blue blood programs like Kansas, Duke, and North Carolina. But Williams' ascension transcended mere basketball statistics. His social media presence became a masterclass in modern athlete branding, with Overtime, a sports media company, producing a YouTube reality series documenting his life, further amplifying his already stratospheric profile. The teenager who once felt uncomfortable in front of cameras had transformed into a content creation machine, understanding intuitively how to leverage his athleticism into cultural relevance.
Like that's sophomore year.
That was my freshman year.
Freshman year? Okay, freshman year.
Yeah.
To be that young with that many followers, like, was it hard for you?
Yeah, cause I didn't know what to do.
The NIL era's dawn found Williams perfectly positioned to capitalize on the seismic shift in amateur athletics. In October 2021, at age 17, he signed a multi-year endorsement deal with Puma, one of the first high school athletes to do so, launching signature apparel and sneakers. His NIL value.
Really, my pops was like the mind behind that. I ain't really know, like.
Oh man.
San Diego County deputies arrested the 18-year-old yesterday in connection to an altercation that took place last month. Investigators say he fired several shots into a car.
Hey, this might be fake. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not a lawyer, but there's been an update in the Mikey Williams case, and I'm going to tell you about it. If you recall, or you watched my last video on this case, Mikey was arrested back in April in connection to a shooting that happened at his home on March 27, 2023. On October 10th, there was a preliminary hearing in which the judge heard witness testimony and ultimately ruled that there was enough probable cause for Mikey to stand trial for the 6 counts of firearm, which were all felonies. If convicted, he would have been facing close to 30 years in prison. But on Thursday, November 30th, 19-year-old Mikey reached a plea agreement. He pled guilty to 1 count of making criminal threats and was ordered to complete 80 hours of community service, attend cognitive behavior therapy, gun safety courses, and anger management. August 12th, 2024 is the date his sentencing is scheduled for, but if he stays out of trouble and completes his courses by that time, his felony charge will be reduced to a misdemeanor. Now, this plea agreement also stipulates that he's forbidden from possessing a firearm, and according to NBC7 San Diego, it's expected that a 10-year weapons restriction will be placed on his record, so he won't be able to have no weapons. But this is a good thing for Mikey.
Nah, that's old. That's old. That's old. We gotta find something.
Y'all remember when Mikey Williams said,
I'm not going to prom. I'm going to the gym. What's prom going to do for me?
Well, let me tell you how that was one of the worst decisions he could have made. See, back in middle school, Mikey Williams was the face of AU basketball. This guy was different. He had his first in-game dunk at 12 years old and was ranked the #1 player in his 8th grade class. After playing alongside Bronny on the Blue Chips, Mikey Williams was a household name. But then came high school. Now, as a freshman on the court, Mikey broke the CIF San Diego scoring record, won Max Prep's Freshman of the Year, and cemented himself as one of the best players in the entire nation. reputation, but off the court, his celebrity status, it was rising. By the age of just 15, Mikey was hanging out with rappers, celebrities, and even met Drake. He had gained millions of followers, and Overtime went to his house to do a special on him. He may have been more popular than ever, but Mikey was slowly changing. See, Mikey's athleticism just didn't stand out anymore on the court. In the case of Mikey Williams, you could see how it ended up for him. He got arrested and now's a bench player at UCF. So for those watching, lock in, but make sure you enjoy your time, because this is All Hail B-Ball, and you only get to...
Nah, bro, no. This ain't what I'm looking for. Update. 2025 update. There we go. There we go.
So Mikey Williams just entered the college portal, and here's the response. Yeah, they already on that, bro. I mean, look at, yeah, they sit the Brooklyn KG. It's bad, bro. But I like what bro right here said. He said he's one of the biggest basketball critics. We know that for sure. But he said, bro, give him a chance, basically. Just give him a chance. Now, the cloth that Mikey is cut from, the social media hoop stars, it's pretty much like dead now. The reality show, the everything, pretty much. In my opinion, bro, I feel like he's one of the ones who actually, like, he's actually good in my opinion. No, he's not as good as he was hyped up to be, but he's 20 years old. I still feel like he has time to develop, bro.
Let me see, bro. Dang, nobody got no real. Okay, whatever.
Maybe I'm wrong. At all. It may be just maybe I'm wrong. At all. It may be just.
Collegiate career. Collegiate career.
Dang.
Now Williams at the other.
Dang. You know what I'm saying? 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 You know what I'm saying?
San Diego County deputies arrested the 18-year-old yesterday in connection to an altercation that took place last month. Investigators say he fired several shots into a car. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Williams is currently ranked as the 34th best high school basketball prospect in the country for the class of 2023.
He was supposed to be the billion-dollar prodigy, but before his first college game, Mikey Williams was staring down 9 felony counts. Not speeding tickets, not a school suspension, 9 serious charges, stacked up like dominoes, carrying the kind of weight that could have buried any other 19-year-old for decades. This wasn't some prank gone wrong or a heated scuffle in a gym. Authorities say he fired at a car as it drove away from his California mansion, a luxury estate in Jamul, worth over $1 million and paid for with influencer checks and sneaker money. 6 people were inside that car. Miraculously, every single one of them walked away without physical harm, but prosecutors didn't hold back. They hit him with 6 counts of assault with a firearm, 1 count of firing into an occupied vehicle, and 2 for making threats that could have ended much, much worse. 30 years in prison. That's what was on the table.
Tonight, a top basketball recruit for the Memphis Tigers basketball team is facing serious criminal charges. The San Diego Sheriff's Department confirmed 5-star recruit Mikey Williams faces 5 charges of assault with a weapon.
Just a year earlier, Mikey had been the poster child for the NIL revolution. The first athlete built in a lab of social media. 3-point slinging, poster dunking, logo rocking. He wasn't just a high school star, he was the star. Over 5 million followers combined, a high 6-figure Puma contract before graduation, and an NIL valuation that shot up to $6 million faster than some NBA rookies see in their first deal. He was on commercials, he was in video games, he didn't need a college resume. The resume was him. The hype machine never stopped. Until it did. Because the moment word broke that Mikey Williams had been arrested in April 2023, the endorsements didn't just pause, they vanished. Puma wiped his name off their site like it had never been there. His Instagram went dark. The college that signed him? Memphis issued a vague statement and then retreated into silence. And for the first time since his viral 7th grade mixtapes, Mikey's name wasn't trending for a dunk. It was in the crime blotter.
Over his head, like you just can't. And so, you know, but you're gonna get the
the public response of we're standing by him, we're gonna, you know, those kinds of things. But
well, sure, yeah, you don't want to just throw him under the bus with no resolution or.
He paid $50,000 bail. He was told to stay off social media, and outside a San Diego courthouse, standing in a black suit and spotless white sneakers, he faced a wall of cameras and said, "All glory to God." That was the quote, that was the soundbite. But behind that moment, insiders say panic had already set in. Memphis, the school that once cleared a spot on its roster for him like he was the second coming of Derrick Rose, didn't rush to get him on campus. Sources familiar with the program say the coaching staff was split. Some wanted to give him a chance after the plea deal, others reportedly told administrators to delay the decision and let the legal process quietly bury him. One source close to the team alleged the school was buying time to cut ties without making it messy. In other words, the same fame that made Mikey untouchable now made him radioactive. And the more time passed,
San Diego County deputies arrested the 18-year-old yesterday.
skeptical. When a player with that much buzz goes from national commercials to online classes, you don't need a press release to know the brand is bleeding. On paper, UCF was a lifeline, but behind closed doors, it was damage control. The legal case was still looming, cameras were still circling, and in the locker room, it was clear. This wasn't a comeback. This was survival. But here's where the story takes its sharpest turn. By November 2023, months after the mugshot hit every sports page in America, something changed. The avalanche of charges collapsed into one: a single felony guilty plea for making a criminal threat. Gone were the 6 counts of assault. Gone was the charge of firing into an occupied car. In their place, a carefully negotiated deal that required therapy, anger management, and 10 years without touching a firearm. No prison time, no trial. Attorney Arash Hashemi didn't mince words. A sweet, sweet deal, and it was. Because for a young man facing the possibility of being locked up until his 50s, the plea deal was a golden parachute. But as sweet as it was legally, professionally it was a different story. He might have avoided a cell, but the damage to his reputation, that stuck.
All it really means is that he's, to live an upstanding life as he has always done already, and to violate no laws, again excluding minor traffic occasions or infractions for the next year, and then after that, he'll be off for probation.
The terms were clear: 80 hours of community service, cognitive behavior therapy, gun safety classes, stay clean for a year, and the felony drops to a misdemeanor. But the consequences aren't just legal, they're branding. Puma's out. NIL rankings erased him completely. Other athletes from the same era are still signing 7-figure sponsorships. Mikey? He's not even listed. The police saved him from bars but carved a scarlet letter into every deal he might have had. And the real twist? Even after the plea, he still couldn't find a court that would fully claim him. Insiders tied to Memphis say the team's hesitation wasn't just about optics. They didn't trust that Mikey had changed. They'd seen the courtroom clips, the Instagram captions, the red laser rumors from the night of the shooting, and they weren't convinced. When Mikey announced his move to UCF, it sounded like a new chapter. But sources close to the decision say it was a last resort after realizing the Tigers weren't going to clear him. The university issued a final, bloodless statement. Williams elected to explore his options. No tribute, no well wishes, just a polite door closing. And at UCF, the storyline didn't flip the way he'd hoped. He debuted late, scored nothing in his first game, and averaged just over 5 points across a short, injury-limited season. The player, once described as a walking highlight, was now limping through a roster trying to stay above 500.
You have millions and millions of people watching your journey. Like they were saying, through social media, through just naturally following you, kind of like a target, kind of like on your hand right there. What's something about you that the world hasn't been able to tap into, like something that they don't know about you?
I'm very humble. I think everybody kind of see the turn side of me, like when I'm on the court, because I'm a competitor.
And now, in a move that looks more like a brand play than a basketball decision, he's headed to Sacramento State, a program that went 7-25 last season and hasn't sniffed the NCAA tournament in its entire Division I existence. On paper, it's a step down. But look closer, and the move starts to make more sense. The school's bringing in splashy hires, moneyed NIL support, and a volunteer general manager named Shaquille O'Neal. Yes, that Shaq. The team's coach? Former NBA player Mike Bibby. They're selling elevation. Williams is selling redemption. It's mutually beneficial, but only if he can stay out of trouble and play like the old Mikey. And right now, no one seems willing to answer. Did he actually fire the gun? Witnesses say he came out with one. Prosecutors say they had enough to go to trial, but under the plea, he never had to admit pulling the trigger, which means this whole saga hinges on a mystery, one that legally speaking was never solved. He walked out a free man, but no one could tell if Mikey Williams had escaped justice or just delayed the next collapse because his so-called redemption would test whether the prodigy could rebuild what he'd already blown apart.
Mikey, like when it all started to blow up on social media for you, when the followers started to come and you started to become a brand, were you present of mind and understanding like what was happening at the time?
No, I wasn't. I was young. I was probably in like 7th grade, 8th grade. So all I knew was basketball. Like business didn't really exist to me yet, you feel me? So it all just happened really fast.
After the headlines cooled, Mikey Williams tried to start over, but fame doesn't forgive that fast. His transfer to Central Florida wasn't a comeback, it was an experiment in containment. Coach Johnny Dawkins called him terrific, and that one word lit up the internet. Critics rolled their eyes, comment sections exploded. Terrific, one post read. He played 18 games and averaged 5 points. But the bigger problem wasn't the stats, it was the silence. No major press tours, no redemption arc documentary, just a slow motion return that looked more like court-ordered community service than a basketball revival. Behind the box scores, the real story was messier. His season began late due to a foot injury, and just as he started showing flashes, 5 starts, a couple double-digit nights, another injury shut him down. The timing felt cursed. A prodigy who once walked into gyms with security now limped out of arenas with ice packs. Some boosters reportedly grumbled about optics. Others, according to one American Athletic Conference source, whispered that UCF had been promised a redemption story, the kind that could justify the risk. But instead, they got low minutes, lower press, and the constant weight of what wasn't said. No one wanted to say it out loud, but everyone knew it. This wasn't what anyone signed up for.
For a young man, you've been through a lot. You were kind of the pioneer of certain things, name, image, and likeness. Like you were the first person that really started to be pushed from a high school standpoint.
So when Mikey entered the transfer portal, again, the move felt less like strategy and more like escape. And now, he's betting his entire future on Sacramento State, a school that went 7-25 last season, bottom of the Big Sky. But this time the pitch isn't just about basketball, it's about headlines, because the new head coach is none other than Mike Bibby, the former NBA star who vanished from the mainstream after his own controversial exit from coaching. And the school's newly minted volunteer general manager, Shaquille O'Neal, yes, that's Shaq, and joining the team alongside a reality show than a rebuilding year. 3 names that once had sneaker deals, magazine covers, or championship rings, all now circling the same unranked locker room. The irony isn't lost on anyone. A team led by men who once owned arenas, now fighting for D1 survival in a program that's never seen March Madness. So the ambition. It's all about elevation, he said, a simple phrase, but it stuck with us. Because for the school, it's an investment. For Mikey, it's survival in real time. Forgiveness doesn't trend. His followers may have stuck around, but their loyalty is shallow. Engaged before his first prom are so the crowd doesn't. In today's NIL economy, that might be all that matters.
19-year-old Mikey Williams appeared in court today on Microsoft Teams, having completed the necessary tasks to have his charge reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor.
And that's what makes this next chapter so dangerous, because now every missed shot, every off-court misstep, every quiet game becomes amplified. He's not just fighting for a stat line, he's fighting to not be reduced to a cautionary tale. The story of a prospect who had it all, blew it all, and then spent the next 5 years bouncing between programs trying to look like a comeback. If he performs, the spin begins. He matured. He put in the work. He proved everyone wrong. But if he falters, then the narrative closes itself. Another wasted talent, a highlight reel without a legacy, and let's not forget, this time, there's no more parachute. No more blue-chip programs willing to look the other way. No more national platforms waiting to broadcast his return. This is Sacramento State, not Duke, not Kansas, not Memphis. The spotlight is dimmer, the stakes are not. Because while the public may not be watching every game, the people who matter, scouts, sponsors, strategists, they're watching every move. It's early. Version Puma bet on. The version that filled arenas before he could drive. The version that probably never existed in the first place. He's playing again, yes, but the prodigy who once dreamed of $1 billion brand is now fighting for relevance in a league that barely notices. One season, one chance. One more opportunity to either rewrite the story or confirm the worst fears of everyone who stopped believing. So is this his comeback, or the last chapter of a star who burned through every second chance the game could give him? What do you...
Man, it depend on what that court case verdict was, but I mean, it sounded like, I mean, you know what I'm saying, Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that he was sentenced to nothing bad. Maybe he did everything for the verdict for it to get lowered down to a misdemeanor, and now he could hoop again and stuff. Maybe that is what happened.
And Mikey Williams update. Bro is free. He basically a free man, to be honest. He pled guilty to one of the charges. Now he got 80 hours of community service and like a program or some shit. And hopefully he stays straight, you feel me?
I mean, is he gonna be admitted back into like the fucking draft and shit? Ain't he supposed to be like in the draft right now?
I mean,
college?
he can't. I mean,
is he valid?
Shit, I don't know, but there's other routes now.
Overseas.
Don't even be going to college like that. They going to fucking overtime league and
that's
fucking
crazy.
And Mikey Williams update.
Man, so he out there.
High school basketball prospect.
He's out.
Apparel and sneakers. His NIL teenager who had spent years cultivating.
I don't know. I'm gonna do a little bit more research afterward. It seemed like everybody knows the story, so at least we caught up on that. At least we caught up on the story and stuff like that, man. But I'm gonna do more research off and stuff like that. I'm gonna see if I can find like what the actual verdict was, because I don't know why people was trying to act like he got a life sentence. I don't think he did. He was facing up to 25 years, but
Additional evidence emerged that would only deepen his legal jeopardy. Judge Sherry M. Thompson Taylor ruled there was sufficient evidence for the case to proceed to trial, and prosecutors seized the opportunity to add 3 more felony charges, bringing the total to 9. The new charges included additional counts of making criminal threats and grand theft auto related to the incident, expanding Williams' potential exposure to over 30 years in prison if convicted on all counts. Additional evidence emerged that would only deepen Additional evidence emerged that would only deepen his legal jeopardy. Judge Sherry.
Okay. Well, dang. So it looks like nobody knows for real.
Former San Ysidro High School basketball star Mikey Williams was ordered to stand trial for felony gun charges. During a preliminary hearing today, we learned more about the shooting earlier this year outside his house. What witnesses say happened that night.
Bullet holes.
We can't show you this girl's face. Home in Hamul.
Mikey seems very shocked that we were there.
Williams allegedly went inside and grabbed a gun.
We were sitting there for a good 10 seconds just listening to those shots go off.
The former San Ysidro High School student was set to play at Memphis University until he was arrested on felony gun charges. I visited his home after the shooting in April, our drone capturing this video of where the shooting happened. Today, Williams stared directly at witnesses as they testified. One high school student gave conflicting information about that night under cross-examination by Williams' attorney, even testifying that she felt pressured to say it was Williams who pulled the trigger.
Did you see the thing that was in his hand fire anything?
It was pretty dark outside. I don't think so.
We also heard from a driver who took a group to Williams' house that night. He testified he saw a red flash and Williams holding what he thought was a gun. His Tesla was shot at as he drove away from the property with 6 people inside.
I was fearful, although I know that the Tesla is slightly bulletproof.
We learned today that the sheriff's department found several weapons inside Mikey Williams' home 2 weeks after the shooting. A detective testified he found a handgun on Williams' nightstand with a loaded magazine next to it, but couldn't actually find the gun that was used in the shooting. Williams has pleaded not guilty to all of these charges. Reporting in El Cajon, Austin Grabish, ABC 10 News.
Williams committed to play at the University of Memphis. The school's athletic department recently said while he is on the team roster, he won't have access to team activities until the legal case is finished.
All right, so it seems like nobody knows, but it's been trending. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep looking out for it, pretty much. Where I'm at with it is where I'm at with it. I'm going to keep looking out for it and everything like that, but it ain't no sense in dragging things on. It don't seem like there's an answer that's out right now. So, I mean, in the meantime and stuff like that, I'll keep looking. But I think that that's going to pretty much cap off like the end of the show and everything. I appreciate everybody who's in chat, you know what I'm saying, for popping up and everything. I appreciate y'all for supporting, being here and everything like that. I hope that the show was kind of interesting. There really wasn't a lot going on like this week and things like that. You know, it was kind of, you know, it's kind of like a little bit of a dry one, but I'm still like, of course, there's always still something going on and everything like that. So, yeah, we just going to try to see what we can do. We just going to try to see what we can do. But for now, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to sign off and everything. Don't forget, though, Tuesdays, the dialogue. Wednesdays, LXL Unxverse. Thursdays, the Media Lab show. Matter of fact, we got the Media Lab show tomorrow. And then after that, you know what I'm saying, we actually have, maybe it's not next week, but maybe the week after next, we have our 1 year anniversary, which we're trying to think of something special for that and everything like that, man. So please, if y'all don't already do it, tap into the Media Lab show on Thursdays on the same channel, Brands and Platforms. If you're watching it on Brands and Platforms, yes, it will be on Brands and Platforms. If not, just type it into your YouTube, you know what I'm saying, search bar and everything like that. Search up Brands and Platforms and everything. You're going to see it on Thursdays. We go live at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Wednesdays is the LXL show, and on Tuesdays y'all got Bible study. You know what I'm saying, y'all got the dialogue with A2 Breezy. That's always interesting and everything like that. They always break it down in such a good way. So I think that this was a very wholesome live and everything like that. Like I said, I'm not going to drag it on too much. So I want y'all to be easy. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to be blessed and everything. Be thankful for the day and stuff like that. It was a pleasure kicking it with y'all. It was a pleasure kicking it with y'all in chat, man. As always, like I super appreciate y'all. And yeah, without further ado, XLXL, it's your boy Reyes, and I'm out.
It's this one thing that got me tripping. It's this one thing that got me tripping. You did this one thing, you saw me feeling. It's this one thing you did. It's this one thing that caught me slipping. It's this one thing I want to admit it. You did this one thing and I was so with it.
Projects. First I caught the bag and put a Glock up in it, I'm about it. Next I pulled up on my favorite op and made them empty pockets. New tech imported to the city, niggas bringing rockets. I could get it at the retail price and resell it on StockX. I got somewhere I'm supposed to be right now, but I'm in Compton. I've been really bad for business lately, I've been steady dropping. His numbers up, he think he doing better than me, nigga stop it. Joker got this handshake that could show you that we really locked in. Why my Chevy blinging in the sun while I be trying to pop shit? All I'm really seeing is the money, diamonds in my eyelids. I was really rich before the money, I was lit without it. Always keep the hoes around, they all got tea, they tryna clock it. She done been around for 6 months, can she really help it? Chaining day coming up quick, she gon' get a necklace. Every time I bring malicious round, shit be getting hectic. He gon' let you know exactly who and who not to mess with. Cash behind me, we knocked 3 goals off our checklist. He said it's time to really spin it, that big body Benz. Catch me out in ATL this summer, I'm in Christian's crib. Everyone from Detroit to Atlanta finna hear the whip. Since 2021, I've been screaming big body Benz. Hella songs I can't even drop, I don't wanna snitch. I had told him if I die tonight, I don't want y'all to spin. But here's a number I need you to call and they'll take care of it. Knowing that my people taking care of gon' bring me to tears. I done had my ducks all in a row since I jumped in that water. 22 and I'm already thinking about my sons and daughters. I'ma be a father that was way better than my father. He say he a shark, but I'm a shark too, let's see who's stronger. If you find an AR in the bushes somewhere in Ann Arbor, I'ma need my shit back for real, son, I need you to call me. Lately I just ain't been feeling right since I ain't had it on. I ain't coming to your party not for free, since you used to charge. And producers really trust me with they beat, cause they know I'm the hardest. 10 toes down and 2 feet, I don't even bargain. Doggy tryna text about the beans, I'll find a new garden. Doggy musta popped one of his beans, he chasing leafy greens. I'm finna supercharge this RA and take off like Rocket League. I wanna live stream my antics, but they'll be watching me. I just went and got this new Mac that hold a 50 piece. I ain't even got my CPL and I conceal it still. Met up in the park, but after dark I left him in the field. Rings bigger than the Super Bowl, I'm in the NFL. Sneaker legends know I'm coming through, I'm finna buy a shell. 10 toes down and 2 feet, it's like I never fell. Anybody rapping with this flow took it from LXL. As long as you listen to my songs, I'll make sure you do well. 2 twin Glocks, they need a name like Keenan and Kel. One day my name gon' become essential like it's fear of God. How my gun gon' really trump shit cause it's a 45. Home base gon' be up out of space, my Rick and Morty vibes. Name a nigga grinding harder than me, nigga, you a lie. One day that my name gon' become essential like it's fear of God. My uncle said I'll be the president because he know that I humble niggas, uncontrollable and unfuckwittable. These niggas cannot miss me with that bullshit, I'm invisible. Your girlfriend went and got hit cause she divisible. These niggas cannot miss me with that bullshit, I'm invisible.